Prince William attended an emotional ceremony in Hyde Park to commemorate the victims and survivors of the 7/7 bombings, which took place 20 years ago today. Prince William cut a somber figure as he laid flowers at the permanent memorial in Hyde Park in memory of the 52 people who were killed in the 7/7 attacks. The Prince of Wales today joined survivors of the London bombings and families of the victims for a moving service at the Memorial Gardens in Hyde Park, to mark the 20th anniversary of the tragedy. He was one of the last of the 500 guests to take his seat, wearing a black suit and tie for the solemn occasion. The prince arrived just after 3 p.m. but due to a delay in proceedings he chatted with Themla Stober, one of the survivors, and Gerald Oppenheim, chairman of the London Bombing Relief Charitable Fund, in the tea tent some 100 yards from the memorial. Families, wearing a mixture of all black and brightly coloured outfits, warmly greeted one another as they started to arrive at the busy London Park from 2:30 p.m. Many walked over to the monument, comprised of 52 steel pillars representing each of the victims, to see the names of their loved ones engraved on the memorial, alongside the time of death and the date of death as July 7, 2005. Floral tributes had been laid on a plaque embedded in the grass near the pillars listing the 52 names alphabetically earlier in the day by the Prime Minister, Mayor of London and officials. Families tearfully touched the names on the plaque and paused for a moment of reflection by the wreaths, which were laid at 8:50 a.m. to coincide with the moment the first bomb went off. The service started 30 minutes late, delayed by long queues at the security gates, and opened with London International Gospel Choir singing Something Inside. Mr. Oppenheim then opened the service, thanking the Prince for attending today, adding, "We appreciate all you and members of the royal family do for survivors of the 7/7 attacks." A minute's silence was observed in memory of the 52 people who died and the more than 700 people injured in the horror bombings during London's rush hour. All that could be heard as guests stood for the silence was the sound of the capital's busy traffic and the trees blowing in the wind. Emotional speeches were made by families of the victims as sunshine broke through the grey clouds above. Jill Fawkes, sister of David Fawkes, said that grief never gets easier, but that the loss and the pain changes over the years. She recalled the pang in her heart after the birth of her daughter, knowing that she will never meet her uncle. The parents of Carrie Taylor, who died aged 24 at Aldgate Station, stood with their arms around one another as her mum June told those gathered, "Don't take for granted what you have but treasure every minute." As her voice cracked, she read the words on her daughter's tombstone. "Missing you is easy, we do it every day. Loving you is heartache, will never go away." Survivor David Gardiner read the names of the killed in the suicide attacks in central London, which saw bombs detonated on 3 underground train stations and a double-decker bus. The conclusion of the service was marked by the laying of bright orange flowers on the plaque, with William joining the families in placing the blooms. After the hour-long service, the Prince joined the survivors and the families of the victims for a private reception at a tea tent some 100 yards from the memorial. William is the latest royal to have marked the tragic anniversary after his father the King issued a statement earlier on the bravery, courage and grief still felt by survivors and victims, saying comfort can be taken from the spirit of unity in London and the country more broadly, which has allowed the nation to heal from the tragedy. In the message, The king said his heartfelt thoughts and special prayers remain with all those whose lives were forever changed on that terrible summer's day. He said the country could take heart from the bravery of the emergency services and others who responded to the attack, and the countless stories of extraordinary courage and compassion that emerged from the darkness of that day. He added, "As we remember those we lost, let us, therefore, use this 20th anniversary to reaffirm our commitment to building a society where people of all faiths and backgrounds can live together with mutual respect and understanding, always standing firm against those who would seek to divide us." Earlier, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, Prince Edward and Sophie, also joined the Prime Minister Keir Starmer at a ceremony at St. Paul's Cathedral this morning. The PM and the royals were joined by the Mayor of London Sir Sadiq Khan, the Home Secretary Yvette Cooper, survivors, emergency responders and bereaved relatives at the commemorative ceremony. During the service, 52,000 petals fell in St. Paul's Cathedral as tribute was paid to those who died in the July 7 terrorist attacks in London 20 years ago. Saba Edwards, daughter of Banaz Mozaka, who died on the Piccadilly line, and Thelma Stober, who survived the Aldgate bomb, struggled to contain their emotions as they read the names of the 52 people who died as the petals fell. Ms. Edwards stifled a sob and paused as she read her mother's name. 4 candles representing the site of each attack were carried through the cathedral by representatives of the emergency services and placed in front of the altar. They were carried by emergency responders Victor West from Transport for London, Helen Skeggs from the Metropolitan Police Service, Guy Tillotson from London Fire Brigade and Tracy Russell from London Ambulance Service. Readings were given about the history of each of the parts of London that were targeted in the attacks.